Coming up on Getting Real to Heal with Dr. Grace.
I saw a little spot on the top of my head. It just got worse and worse, accelerated super, super quickly. From August 2nd to August 16th, I had no hair left on my head pretty much.
Welcome to a place where we discover the freedom and healing found only in Jesus Christ. Through powerful stories, our guests tell how He turns pain into peace, rewrites lives, and restores the wholeness only He can give. This is Getting Real to Heal with Dr. Grace.
Welcome to Getting Real to Heal with Dr. Grace. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today's topic is living with alopecia. And alopecia is hair loss. Diagnosed at the age of 20, Isabella LaRoy was told that she would have hair loss as a permanent condition. She's going to share her journey today of how God has gently walked with her these last year and a half with this condition and just sharing with us the things that she has learned. Welcome to the show.
Thank
Bella.
you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and be able to share my story.
Yes. So, Bella, I know your family of origin. You grew up in a very healthy, loving Christian home environment.
Yes.
And so I know your grandmother, Linda Lesniewski, and your mother. Mm-hmm. And so you were very involved in church. And when did you become a believer?
I was actually 5 years old. My grandma wrote a children's book about becoming a Christian, and I told my mom I felt like Jesus knocking on my heart. And so she was putting my sister down for bed, and I said, no, I want to become a Christian right now. So she put her down and came in my room, and we read the book together and said the prayer, and I just remember feeling so happy and joyful. And everyone we saw for the next week, I told them that I was a Christian. I was so happy.
Right.
So yes, when I was 5 years old.
That's exciting. So yes, you have been walking with Jesus now for most of your life. Mm-hmm. And so Bella, tell us, before we go into when you were diagnosed with the hair loss, you and Andrew did get married right out of high school. And y'all were living a good life. And one day, all of a sudden, you started noticing your hair was falling out.
Yes. So I was actually like the happiest I've ever felt whenever I started losing it. It actually started out whenever I was 16 years old, when I was in high school. It was right during COVID. I noticed my first like little bald spot on the back of my head, which is alopecia areata, which is smaller parts of hair loss. And so they told me to go to the dermatologist, and they just said that's alopecia areata. It just means hair loss. And they gave me like a topical steroid to put on it. So I did that for, I guess, a few months, and then it grew back in, and then I would lose some and have some more bald spots, but it would always grow back in. And that's what I was expecting to happen when I lost it all this time. Right. But it did get to a point where I'd have to kind of rearrange my hairstyles and wear my hair down my senior year of high school. And so we found another, actually I have Hashimoto's too. It's another autoimmune disease with your thyroid. And I was diagnosed with that when I was 10. So when you have one autoimmune disease, it can sometimes trigger another one. Right. So we found an endocrinologist out of California, and we did some functional medicine approach. They saw that I had really high levels of inflammation and really high cortisol levels that were off the charts. I couldn't even chart them. And some leaky gut syndrome, some vitamin deficiencies, things like that, which could cause the hair loss as well. So we treated those things, and it did eventually grow back in. So then fast forward to whenever I was 19 years old. I was about to turn 20. Mm-hmm. In that summer, I noticed my hair started shedding a lot more, and I'd brush my hair and my brush would kind of fill up, and I thought that was a little bit weird. But I just continued throughout my summer. It was a really, really fun summer. We were newlyweds, hanging out with our friends. We took a trip to Florida. That's when I kind of noticed it was a lot of hair. Like when we left, like the trash can was full of hair. And so then it was August 2nd. I saw a little spot on the top of my head, and I called my mom, and I was like, this is weird. I've never had a bald spot on the top of my head. They've always kind of been lower, and I could always hide them. So I bought some headbands and scarves. I just thought, oh, it'll grow back in. Well, then it just got worse and worse. And I started like not wanting to take a shower at night because then like the drain was just full of hair and just accelerated super, super quickly to where from August 2nd to August 16th, I had no hair left on my head pretty much.
Wow. So prior to that, you had just thought, oh, my hair's just going to grow back.
Yes.
Because that's what it had done over the last 4 years, you know?
Yes.
And so, but then when this permanent hair loss started to happen, it happened really quickly.
Yes.
And it became very, very obvious that there wasn't anything stopping, you know, the hair loss.
When it got so bad, I was babysitting one morning and it was just my whole head. There was no hiding it anymore. And I called my mom crying and I said, like, I don't know what to do. I'm reading online, you can go to the dermatologist and maybe they can do some shots to get it to stop or grow back, which we were kind of against that because the dermatologists don't really, I feel like, understand alopecia since it is more of an autoimmune disease. But we decided to just go try that out, see what they thought. So that next day, we made it to the dermatologist, and they looked at my hair and they said, yeah, this is pretty bad. This is almost your whole head. It would take a lot of shots and a lot of rounds of shots, and we don't even know if that would help. So once I left that appointment, I kind of knew that I think I was going to be bald. And so I was very tearful that day, cried a lot. And throughout this 2 weeks, I still just kept on going to work. I still kept on continuing with my life, even though I was pretty upset inside.
But you took it in stride on the outside, and you're like, okay, I'm losing my hair, but not really sure what I do about it. You went to the dermatologist. They couldn't help you. Did you go back to your endocrinologist?
So the day after the dermatologist, we went to another functional medicine here in Tyler, Integrative Health, and they talked through my past, my history, and they wanted to do another round of tests, a GI test, blood test, extensive things like that. So I went ahead and did those things. Still had a little bit of hope that it would grow back. They had never seen a patient, I think, with that much hair loss before. It was more areata. And so I did those tests. They saw, again, super high cortisol levels off the charts and stress levels. And then there was a lot of H. pylori in my gut and a yeast overgrowth. So I did some antibiotics for that to kind of get that under control. Did a lot of supplements and had hopes that it would maybe grow back. But then it got to that point, August 16th, where there was just nothing left. And I decided to shave my head. And I thought that it would look better than just the strings that were left. So I went over to my parents' house and I had my two younger sisters shave my head for me, kind of laugh through it and make the best of it.
Wow.
And looking back now, that was a really, really hard time in my life. And really only God got me through it. I started writing a book. And before this interview, I went and was reading some of the entries that I made when it first started happening. And I started crying because I forgot how intense it was and how emotional it was and just processing that I was going to be bald. And that's when I finally heard the term Alopecia Universalis, which is when you lose all the hair on your whole body. So after I had lost my head, I shaved my head. Then it was about a month later that I noticed that my eyelashes and my eyebrows started falling out too. I washed my face and I was like, oh my gosh, where did my hair go? And so that was a whole nother round of emotions. I feel like I have no face left. There's nothing left of me. It just kind of felt like a blank canvas. And so it was at that moment when I had nothing left. And I remember I was just on my bed crying. And I cried out to God. I was like, if this is going to be my life, if this is a plan you have for me, I just need you to give me peace about this. And just let me be able to live my life with no hair, but be at peace. And so from that moment on, I've had the most amazing peace from him.
Wow.
And I had actually struggled with anxiety my whole life, really, really bad. I delayed getting my driver's license. I was really scared. Lots of different instances where I've just been high anxiety. And so after that moment when I said that prayer, I mean, it's like my personality has changed. I don't have that anxiety anymore. I stopped taking my anxiety medicine, and
Wow.
I just have this newfound sense of
Crazy.
joy and peace and happiness. And
Right.
when people ask me, how do you leave your house? How did you get through that time in your life? And my answer is only God. He's
Right.
the only one who
Right.
saw me through that.
I mean, obviously, you were crying out, praying to the Lord, like, okay, I want my hair, you know, but that wasn't happening. But instead of being mad at him, you really just fell into his lap and basically said,
Yes.
I'm yours. So if you want me bald, give me your piece.
Yes.
And he so did that for you, Bella.
I definitely had moments where I was mad, like, why this is happening to me? Why did you choose me? Why am I having to deal with this
Yeah.
and handle this? And at one point, like, the verse popped into my mind, I know the number of hairs on your head. And I was like, God, I don't even have any hairs on my head now. Like, this is not fair. And it's like I heard him say to me, I counted every hair that fell out as I comforted you and I was beside you. And I was like,
Yes.
okay, God. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. And I could just always feel his peace and his comfort. And I'd have a hard moment. Like, random things will, like, trigger memories of when I had hair. Like, I'll find a random hair tie or I'll see an old photo. And I'm like, oh, man, that makes me sad. I miss it a lot. But then I just pray and I'm like, God, I trust you. I know that your plans are always better than mine.
Right.
And I think that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned throughout this is he has a plan for me.
Yes, yes. With hair or without hair.
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
Yes.
You know, so Bella, he really has been teaching you that a lot of different life lessons, you know, through this whole experience. And the fact that he removed your anxiety, which is an absolute miracle in itself.
Yes.
And when you fully surrendered and said, hey, give me your peace. That's all I need in this life. And he definitely has given you peace as well as more joy and more of a vibrant life because of what you've walked through, you know, these last year and a half.
Yes.
And so what was your husband? How did he take this all
Yes,
in?
we were brand new newlyweds. We're so happy. And he had to watch me walk through this hard season of life and watch me grieve this hair. Like, I would call my mom at night just crying, why is this happening to me? Just really sad. And she was sad that she couldn't be with me because I was a newlywed and moved off on my own. And she wanted to comfort me through that. But he has been my rock. He is so kind, so supportive, always makes me feel beautiful. Even though I'm laying there in bed with nothing on my face, he still thinks I'm so beautiful and compliments me. And he, I mean, really, God bless me with a kind and supportive husband to walk me through that, because I've heard stories of people that there was a lady that her husband didn't even know she had alopecia. She didn't even want to tell him. She wore her wig to bed. She never took it off in front of him. So on the other end, he has just made me feel beautiful and loved and supported.
So you definitely married a husband who is just a gem. He basically just is loving you for no matter what happens. And
even with my anxiety and things, like, he helped me get my driver's license. He helped me practice driving when I was so nervous to drive all the way to UT Tyler, just things like that. He's always been so supportive and helpful.
No, that's wonderful. And so did you ever have to go through counseling while you were walking through this, or did you really have the support of your family and your husband that kind of helped you emotionally accept what was happening?
I actually did go back and see my counselor who I had worked with through my anxiety and things like that. And that was one of the first places I ever went bald. I said, I'm going to go into the counseling office bald. So I walked in there and she saw me. She's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And I said, yes, I have alopecia. Kind of told her what I was working through. And my mom wanted me to go and just kind of process what had happened with her. So I kind of told her my story, and I I had that joy about me and that happiness. And she said she like barely even recognized me from before because of that confidence that I have now. And she said, you can either choose. You can choose to go on the path where you're embarrassed, you're scared, you're sad, you sit in your room in the dark. That's what people would say to me. How did you even leave your house? Like, you can choose that path, or you can choose to move on with your life, accept it. This is me. God allowed this to happen to me. And she said, you've obviously chosen to embrace it and move on with your life. And she said, I can definitely see that from you. And she said, I've learned a lesson from you today in your confidence and your joy. And so I walked out of that appointment really happy and knowing that I had done that work, I had processed it, and I do have an amazing support system behind me.
Well, it sounded like you definitely journaled through those days, and you weren't afraid to have crying episodes with God.
Yes.
Or with anybody who was around you. You know what I mean? I mean, you got real about what was happening because, I mean, if you had a choice, you obviously would have chosen not to lose your hair, but you don't have a choice. So the choice that you made, I mean, it's just made your life, Bella, so much more richer because of what you've been through.
Yes.
And so I'm glad to hear that. That didn't lead to like a significant depression or body image sort of, whatever, dysmorphia, So, and so when you discovered that you were pregnant, tell us what that was like.
Yes, so she's actually a pretty big surprise. We were waiting to have kids for about 3 more years till my husband graduated with his master's degree. So I think I got really healthy from doing all those things that the doctor wanted me to do. And I always thought it would take me a long time to get pregnant with all my health issues. They kind of told me that fertility is related to a lot of thyroid issues and things like that. So it was a big surprise when I saw that positive pregnancy test. But I knew that God had a plan and I would trust him. I had already learned that lesson from losing my hair, and it felt like a blessing after that hard time that we had walked through together. And so when we found out it was a girl, we were thrilled. We both would be so happy to have a daughter. And of course, the things start like flooding my mind of I don't want to have to watch her walk through what I walked through. I don't want her to be born and not have any hair. I was really scared that she would have alopecia. I couldn't comprehend that my body can't grow hair on myself, but it could grow a baby with hair. And the whole pregnancy, I said, God, you're going to have a sense of humor and she's going to be born with a head full of hair. And of course, the first thing the doctor says is, well, she has a head full of hair. And so she was born. She's got thick, dark brown hair. And it's so funny. I'm excited to be able to do braids and play with her hair and for her to learn beauty has no standards with me and have confidence. And it's been so much fun to be her mom. And I got a comment on one of my videos that has stuck out to me. She said, my mom has alopecia universalis, and I can't imagine her with hair. She wouldn't be my mom. So that meant a lot to me, and she'll always just know this version of me, and she just sees her mom. That's all she sees. She doesn't see hair or no hair. It's pretty funny. When I put on a wig, she's like grabbing at it because she's not used to having hair to play with.
She's used to seeing you without hair.
Yes.
And that's you, Mom. I don't, So how common is this condition?
So alopecia universalis, when you Google it, it says it's 0.1% of the world.
Oh, okay.
Very, very rare. My doctor had never seen anyone with universalis.
Yeah. Okay.
I see other girls on social media that have it, but I think it is pretty rare. Alopecia areata is very common, where it's just smaller spots and thinning and things like that. So I think a lot of women deal with hair loss, but not to the extreme where it's eyebrows, eyelashes, full body hair. Like even my nose hair is gone. Like my nose will sometimes run because there's nothing to stop it from going. So yes, pretty crazy.
I don't know, Bella. God has a way. He has a good sense of humor, and he is using these, this condition to teach you and to teach others what's really important in this life. And so you've discovered, what are some things that God has shown you about yourself that you have learned through the last year and a half?
After having such bad anxiety, I've always been like type A, rule follower, perfectionist. things like that. And that kind of rolled over my life. But after going through this, I've seen that I can be confident, I can trust in his plan, and that I've leaned onto him and trusted him more than I ever have in my life, and kind of created my own relationship with him as I've grown. Instead of kind of following with my parents and just kind of going to church, now I like have that strong relationship with him.
Yes. Yes. So it really has firmed up your relationship.
Yes.
And you're right, because there's a lot of young adults who, when they do leave the house, you know, they have to choose whether or not this faith is really theirs versus, no, it's just my parents' faith and I'm just kind of following along.
Yes.
But he's definitely solidified that for you. And so you know that Jesus is very real.
Yes.
And
yes. From that moment on my bed, just crying out to him and then feeling that peace that has lasted ever since. Like that moment to me, like just stands out to me the most out of everything that's happened to me.
So really, with such a low percentage of people get this, that there's really not a support group or per se.
Yes. So I joined a Facebook group online, but a lot of the posts are about how can we get our hair back. They try different things and then it fails. So it felt like really negative to me.
Yes.
So I decided to make a post just kind of telling my story, sharing happy photos of me bald, and everyone was commenting, "Oh, I just love this. Like, I can see your joy. It's so apparent." And my grandma always tells me, like, when you're a Christian, there's something different about you. There's a light. There's just a light. And I think that people can see that in me and my positivity throughout all of it. I've decided to embrace it instead of let it hold me back. So I've joined that group, and I try to kind of share positivity in there. And then there's other influencers that I've found that have it too. So it's fun to see other women who look like me, which it's kind of weird. Like they all like really look similar to me. My doctor kind of feels like it's kind of an epidemic. And my one doctor who specializes in alopecia, skin and hair, she said that most everyone she's treated has that same personality type as me, that perfectionist, rule follower, high anxiety. So she kind of feels like it could be tied with that high cortisol levels, and then they crashed, and then that causes the hair loss. So there's no way to know what actually causes it.
Right.
So, but that was one of her thoughts of what could have caused it.
So these other influencers that do have the same condition, they pretty much have embraced it as well.
Yes.
In that they are living life to the fullest still. And so, because I mean, you are very young, and but I know that I've seen some of your posts, and they're just so funny and cute. And I know that you wear wigs at times.
Yes.
And so when do you decide when you're going to wear a wig?
So most of the time, if I don't want to attract a lot of attention to myself, that's when I would wear one, like especially like attending events, attending weddings, when I go to church, things like that. When I go to work, I would wear one. Okay. But I've gotten a lot more confident about going out bald, and I just like having nothing on my head. I don't like having to have a wig on and have that itchy feeling. I've gotten a few wigs that I feel like make me look a lot like myself and like my natural hair. So I like being able to put that on and feel pretty again. But yes, when that first time that I had to get a wig, I never ever thought in my life that I would have to wear a wig. Like hearing the word wig, I was like, what? That's like for old ladies that have hair loss and things like that. And there's a local wig shop here in Tyler called Reflections. And in that like first week when there was just barely anything left, my aunt suggested, well, maybe you should get a wig. And I said, what? A wig? Me? No way. But we went into that wig store. The ladies were so kind, so sweet and encouraging.
Wow.
We picked one out. And so I put that on my head and I went to work. And then that next week I started my senior year of college. So I put on my wig and I went into school. And I just kept on going with my life. And I'll wear a wig.
So how have you encouraged others? I mean, because a lot of people are following you and they're watching you.
Yes.
And they may not be struggling with the alopecia, but they may have something else that's, physically different. And so I'm sure you've kind of made connections with some of those folks.
Yes.
And just, them watching you being encouraged and not held back by this permanent hair loss is definitely really good for them to see.
Yes, just being positive and just not that negative and constantly trying to find like a cure. I'm like, this is me. I don't need to be fixed. This is what God has allowed for me. And I've gotten some comments on my videos saying, I never pictured myself being a bald mom. I love seeing that you're bald and you're a mom, and I can do that too. And I felt that exact same way when I got pregnant. I thought, I had never pictured myself being bald and having a kid, like in the hospital room. Like I pictured myself with hair. And that was one thing I just couldn't really wrap my mind around. And seeing other moms that had it as well helped me. So it's been encouraging to see those comments.
That's wonderful.
They love to see that. And then I got another comment the other day that said, I was so scared to get pregnant and have kids. I didn't want the same thing to happen to my baby. And so seeing your baby with her head full of hair makes me so happy and makes me feel okay with starting a family someday. Wow. So that was encouraging too.
And I know through these conversations, you tell them about the peace that God has given you. And it's just a way of you sharing with them who Jesus is. Mm-hmm. And,
when people ask me, how did you do that? And reading those entries in my book that I started writing, like that was such a hard time, such a low point. Watching my hair just fall out and go down the drain and not recognizing myself in the mirror. It was so hard. But yes, when I can share that God is the only one who can get you through that. And so for people that are struggling, that don't have a relationship with God, I can't imagine like how hard it can be. And so I would encourage them to lean on God, pray to Him, cry out to Him, and He will answer your prayers.
Right. Well, I love that you didn't wear a wig to this interview.
Yes.
So
when I was leaving, my husband said, "You're not wearing a wig?" I said, "No, this is a podcast about my alopecia." He said, "Well, I didn't know if you would wear it and then take it off during the podcast."
Oh, Bella, I love it. It's and you look very pretty bald.
Thank you.
So
everyone says I have a good shaped head for it. So God bless me with a good shaped head.
Yes, no kidding. No, I just think it's so sweet. Just how he's just pretty much blossomed you. And I saw that video of you and your sisters cutting your hair, shaving your hair, and you were laughing, actually. Yes. And so instead of actually crying.
Yes, most people, like, I'll see videos pop up on my feed of people shaving their head for alopecia, and they're crying, and it's really emotional. And I was feeling those emotions, too, but I think we decided to just laugh through it. There's a part where we're all just, like, screaming, looking in the mirror with my bald head, just like, how is this real? But yeah, we just decided to make the best of it. I think I definitely went home and I shed some tears. Like, yes, it was sad seeing a bald head. Like, I think it's in the video. I would never think I would have a bald head. My middle sister said, if someone asked me if I would ever have to shave my sister's head, I would have said maybe, but I didn't know. She was there just shaving it off. So, yes.
Wow. Well, Bella, I mean, I think I shared with you before the podcast started that I had breast cancer 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so one of the women that who had gone through breast cancer and lost all of her hair, she had warned me how traumatic it's going to be for me to lose my hair. And so I knew just embracing that day when that would happen. So, but I can't even imagine how you were feeling because you weren't expecting any of that to happen.
Yes.
And so, but I remember, when I definitely was totally bald, the Lord also spoke those, words to me about He knew every single hair on my head was numbered. And so, but thanks be to God, He's cured me of the cancer. And then He also had said, I will grow every hair back that you've lost. And so now I've got hair now. But I remember going to church one day when I was just having that little peach fuzz. And I was like, I am sick and tired of this wig.
Yes.
I don't want the wig.
Yes.
People are going to just have to see me for what I look like.
Yes.
And it's going to be fine,
Yes. There was a lady in my church who went bald from cancer the exact same time that I did. So we were both kind of bald at the same time. But now seeing her with all her regrowth, I'm like, man, that's what my hair would have looked like if it would have been growing back. But
praise God that you didn't have cancer.
Yes, praise God. Yes. A lot of people comment on my videos, oh my gosh, I thought you had cancer. I'm so glad you don't. And I'm like, yes, I'm very blessed to not have cancer.
Oh my gosh, Bella, there's just so many, lots of blessings when you choose to find them, to look for them. And so what scriptures have really spoken to you through these last year and a half?
I wanted to be able to look at them.
Yeah.
So one that always has popped in my mind whenever I had that major anxiety and things like that was, don't worry about anything, instead pray about everything. So when I find myself worrying or having a hard moment, I stop and I pray about it. And that has helped me a lot. That's Philippians 4:6-7. And his peace will guard your hearts and minds as you live in Christ Jesus. And I've definitely experienced that peace. And then 1 Peter 5:7, give all your worries and cares to God, for he cares for you. And I've learned throughout this that he does care for me, and he has comforted me through all of this hard times. And one that I was having a really hard moment. I was crying. I was tearful. I just opened up my Bible, and this is a verse that I saw. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. I was like, oh my goodness, like this is my weakest. This is my weakest point. This is the lowest I've ever felt. But your power is strong. And so I will boast. Here I am boasting about my hair loss, my alopecia, and his power is made stronger. So,
I mean, I love how these verses can speak to anybody in all different types of situations.
Any hard situation, yes.
And make it so personal to you.
Yes. This last one, James 1:2-3. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Just reading that, I was like, that's me. Like, I have this pure joy about me. And I've faced a trial, and he has tested my faith for sure, but it's only made my faith stronger.
Right.
So,
that's beautiful.
Yes.
Well, Bella, I thank you so much for just sharing your journey. Your joy is contagious. It's so, and I know God is going to continue to use your voice and to use your baldness for his glory, and to bring others to Jesus, and for them to realize that there's so much more to this life than what we look like on the outside.
Yes, yes.
And it's all those other things that he wants to cultivate in us, And so tell the listeners how they can find you.
You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Bald and Bella. I chose the name Bald and Bella because my name is Bella, but it also means beautiful, bald and beautiful. And I told my family and my husband, I'm bald, but I'm still Bella. I'm still myself. I'm still the same personality, just stronger. So that's how I chose that name, Bald and Bella. I'm working on a book that I'd love to release at some point. And
wonderful.
So those are the main ways. You can email me at isabellalaroy@gmail.com if you want to share your story or any thoughts that you have. I'd love to offer any words of wisdom to you. And yes, I'm excited. There's an alopecia fashion show in California this summer, and I applied to be in that and represent bald moms and kind of carry my baby down the runway and rip my wig off. So I'm looking forward to that.
So you actually got chosen?
She said that everyone that applies gets accepted.
Oh, okay.
So I submitted that last week.
Okay.
So we're going to try and make a little family trip out of it and go to Los Angeles, and
that is
walk the runway. So
that is so fun.
I'm excited to be able to do that and represent bald moms.
Yes. And I watched that 2-minute, or I don't know if it was 2 minutes, but it was a clip that you had done over the course of the 2 weeks when you lost your hair, and just showing how fast the hair had fallen out.
Yes.
And
yeah, you can go watch that video and see how fast it was and see kind of what it looked like in those 2 weeks.
And so we will definitely provide that link in the show notes so people can go to that. But But yeah, I mean, I'm just so appreciative about how honest you are, because even though, you've learned and you've grown so much and you've got the joy of the Lord, it's still not easy.
Yes, for sure. Yes. I sometimes see people with their head full of hair. I'm like, man, I wish that was me. I wish I could have one more day, like knowing that was my last day with hair. Like I didn't have time to know or process that. And then like my eyebrows and eyelashes, I miss putting on mascara and things like that. I miss like washing my hair, like getting your hair scrubbed at the salon, things like that. Going to bed with wet hair. I loved wet hair on my pillow. Some people hate that. I loved it. Like the smell of shampoo. Like there's a lot of random things that I miss that you wouldn't think about.
Right.
But I will say it's very nice not having to shave. No more shaving my legs. Haven't done that in almost 2 years. So there are definitely some perks.
You've got some perks. You don't have to worry about fixing your hair, shampooing your hair, fixing it and all that.
Super quick showers. My baby can't pull my hair.
Right, right. Yes. Well, I'm just so glad that the Lord gave you Georgia, and she's got thick, beautiful brown hair, so you'll be able to do all those fun things with her.
Yes.
And live through your baby. So, but yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the show,
yes, thank
Bella.
you.
I really appreciate you. And today that wraps up our episode of Getting Real to Heal. And if you liked what you heard today, please leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. So I will see you the next time. Bye now.
This podcast is made possible in part by Express Employment Professionals, the leading staffing agency in East Texas, helping thousands of businesses find the right employees. If you're looking for a job, visit expresspros.com to learn more. If you enjoyed this podcast, visit deepintheheartministries.com/podcast, where you can find all previous episodes, subscribe to our channel, or leave a suggestion for future topics. You can also email Grace at drgraceenglish.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.